Hey YouTube, my name is Liel and I'm going to be talking about a book I've recently read, and honestly, this book has really opened my eyes about the injustice and the cruelty colored people have had to face. The book I'm talking about is The Hate You Give. The protagonist, a 16-year-old black girl, Star Carter, lives in this very poor black neighborhood while attending a mostly white private school called Williamson. She often feels torn and has created these two separate identities. A very life-changing event has happened as she witnesses her childhood best friend, Khalil, shot by a police officer. She feels pressured from her community while also struggling with her grief, fear, and anger. She faces issues with racism, police brutality, and injustice, but with the support from her friends and family, she finds her voice and decides to use her voice for good. The first thing that really stood out to me was the racism and the police brutality and how normalized all of that was. It made me realize how the cops are basically trained to see black people as a threat. And we see Uncle Carlos, a black police officer, prove that point when Star asks him what he would do if he pulled over a white man versus a black man. And what he said was actually outrageous because he fell for the propaganda and views the officers have towards black people. People in Garden Heights fear the police. And we saw how Maverick, Star's dad, was getting harassed by the police because he was having an argument with Mr. Lewis. Khalil got pulled over and demanded why he got pulled over. The officer wasn't giving him the reasons, so Khalil decided not to comply with any of his orders. The officer dragged him out of the car and pinned him roughly against the car, searching him and taking out his ID. The officer told Khalil not to move, but Khalil, he's never been informed about the police. His parents didn't tell him anything, didn't tell him how to act around them. He didn't know, so he went up to Star to check up on her. He had a hairbrush in his seat and he picked it up, and out of nowhere, 115 shot him.
Star has witnessed everything that has happened up to that point. 115 then points his gun at Star. Star hasn't done anything wrong. She's complied with everything 115 has asked her, and he still pointed her gun at her.
The novel really portrays police brutality and the racism black people have faced. It opened my eyes to what black people had to face when dealing with people who they were supposed to trust that would keep them safe. One of the other biggest themes that really stood out to me was Star's identity crisis. She was torn between keeping Williamson Star and Garden Heights Star from conjoining into one identity. She kept it split because she went to a white private school and was afraid of talking as herself because she didn't want people thinking of her as a thug or that she was in a gang. She talked like people wanted her to. Khalil dies, she struggles to keep her emotions bottled. She still keeps her Garden Heights Star hidden. She doesn't let her friends know that she actually knew Khalil. She lies to them when they ask her if she knew Khalil, and she's like, no, because she doesn't want them to know about Garden Heights Star. It's only when Chris, Star's boyfriend, that says he wants Star for who she is. Both sides, because he wants Star to let him in fully because he loves her. And they confess their love to each other. It's a really sweet moment, but not what I'm talking about. That whole conversation they had with each other, Star and Chris, it lets Star know that she doesn't have to make new identities because people will still love her for her, and if they don't, just drop it. After reading this book, one thing I believe is especially important is the power of the individual voice. The novel explores who has that power, who is silenced, and how having people supporting your back can make a difference. We see this with Star, who was conflicted about speaking out for Khalil because she was scared, but people like her family and community supported her and even encouraged her to speak, which she did. She spoke about everything that has happened. Everyone's voice holds power, and people that disagree with you may try to silence you, but there will always be people that will stand with you and will support you. The power of one's voice can be knowledgeable. It is scary, but it's also brave to speak out about stuff that has happened. And speaking out can inform people about what have happened so they know the real truth. Angie Thomas's The Hate You Give teaches that even though racism and police brutality is normalized in society, speaking up against it can be the first step towards change. We saw Star struggling to find her voice, but once she did, things changed. People supported her, and because she spoke up, it led to Kane getting arrested and Garden Heights to finally start healing. I really enjoyed this book, and I feel like I'm able to understand a whole new like perspective, because this is something black people face that I will most likely never have to face. This book was a solid 9 out of 10 for me. I enjoyed the content, but there were a lot of swear words, and I didn't really enjoy that. But if you ignore swear words and look at the content, this book is actually amazing. But thank you for listening to my book review of The Hate You Give.